How you doing, guys? Malik over at Modern Pawn. Just got in the mail the new David Tubb's T7T, the Tubbs 700 two-stage trigger. This right here is the unit. It is a supposedly true two-stage trigger, and it is fully adjustable as a two-stage trigger. He claims that this is adjustable anywhere from 1 pound to 3.5 pounds, and the first stage and the second stage weight are both independently adjustable. So you can adjust how much take-up there is on the front and then how it breaks in the back. We haven't installed it yet. We're going to show you how this goes in. If you've never done a Remington 700 aftermarket trigger, they're generally pretty straightforward. This particular unit is set up for 700 Remington style actions that have a side bolt release. So this does not accommodate the traditional Remington 700 bolt release tab that goes alongside the trigger. He does have one that has that part available to it. So this is just the trigger, does not have the bolt catch. From what I understand, this trigger was built and set up to feel kind of like the Accuracy International. Accuracy International has one of the most, I would say, famous two-stage triggers. A very, very, very nice two-stage trigger. There is a take-up, and then it breaks at the back. So if you've never had a chance to fire an Accuracy International actual two-stage trigger, they're wonderful triggers. They're also easily adjustable by the user. This rifle right here, we're going to give you we'll get the pull gauge out and show you what we're trying to get to. This is a match rifle that is set up with a little lighter than what I would call a combat weight trigger. I think these generally come from the factory at about 3.5, maybe 4 pounds. This one, that's about 1 pound, 13 ounces to touch the second stage. And that's breaking at 2.9. Generally, I think we could try to get this one right at 2.5 pounds. So we're about an ounce off of 2.5 pounds. Very consistent, ultra rugged, very, very durable trigger. I mean, 2.93, 2.95, it'll break like that over and over and over again. Very, very good quality trigger on the Accuracy International. So that's what we're going to try and feel here. About 1 pound, pound and a half on the first half, and about 1 pound to 1.5 pounds on the second half of the trigger. So this trigger right here, we're going to put it in this rifle. This is one of my personal match rifles. This is a Surgeon Action custom barrel and an Accuracy International stock. So this rifle right here has a milled in bolt release right here on the side. So this is not a traditional Remington 700 when it comes to the bolt release. Installation on these is pretty straightforward. You'll need an Allen wrench, a pin punch, and a little hammer. A little block would help too if you're going to be hammering pins. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the action out of the stock. I already loosened these up a touch so that it would be easier to unscrew the 2 bolts that holds the action to the stock. Once you have that done, don't drop your gun, and you'll be able to lift the action out of the stock. We'll set that aside. Now, this has a jewel trigger in it right now. I have this jewel trigger set up at about 2 pounds, but it is a single stage trigger, and by single stage, when you go to fire this trigger, there is really no movement besides the breaking of the trigger. So when I go to pull this trigger, very little movement. It's really just pressure that we put on the trigger. There's no take up. It's just you find the trigger and you start putting pressure on the trigger and it breaks. So we're going to try this David Tubbs trigger, see how it works. A lot of guys, personally I prefer a two-stage trigger on my ARs. I really like the Accuracy International trigger, so we're going to give that a try on our precision rifle. So basic punch. One pin comes out. You gotta move the safety to get the other one. Other pin comes out. That's the trigger unit right here. The jewel trigger, by the way, guys, if you like a single stage trigger, I think is the finest single stage trigger on the market right now for the Remington 700. A wonderful trigger. We keep these in stock over at the shop. Really, really nice trigger. This is a brand new unit from David Tubbs. We're gonna give this one a whirl, see how we like it. All right, guys, got the jewel trigger out of this one. We'll set that aside, set the bolt aside. Got our pins here. Basically, all this is going to happen is you're going to slide this up into the cavity. And you're going to pin it in place. Generally, when you do these, you have to have the bolt out, and we do the front pin first. They're going to go in left to right. If you're looking at the rifle in the upright position, get the front pin aligned first. Hammer, then we'll tighten that up in a second here. Get the back pin started. Tighten down the front pin. And then we'll do the back pin. Pretty straightforward on the install. So once you get it installed, definitely go kind of over a safety check. We haven't done any adjustments on the trigger yet, so you're going to want to make sure that the firing pin is cocking on there, that it's firing, that you can put it on safe. Mash on the trigger, make sure nothing happens there. Mash on the trigger, open the bolt on safe. Hold the trigger down with it on safety and pull. Push the bolt down. So like if you had the trigger pinned, it's on safe. You want to make sure that it doesn't go off. Let go of it. Take the safety on and off. Mash on the safety. You know, kind of go over a few things here and make sure that the rifle is safe. One of the features, guys, of the T7T trigger from David Tubbs is the safety has some sort of firing pin block. Now, I'd have to look at a schematic because you can't really see what's going on unless you had a cutaway or something like that. There's something that's coming up inside the trigger and blocking the firing pin. It's actually in blocking the firing pin. It's not just disengaging the sear or anything like that. So let me see if we can show you this. If you look right here at the firing pin extruding from the shroud, that's the firing pin right there. As I go to take the safety off, see how that comes in just a little bit? And when I go to put the safety on, it sticks back out. Something's actually coming up from the underside and blocking the firing pin. First impression, haven't even put it back in the stock yet. It feels real nice. It feels really good. It has this take up right here. Take up and breaks really good. Now, all right, guys, this trigger actually has 5 different adjustments that you can do to it. The first adjustment is the position of the trigger shoe. The second is the distance the first stage travels before it engages. The weight of the first stage, right here, that weight, and then the sear engagement and the weight of the second stage. So, all right, guys, a little bit of a cutaway there. What we had to do, the trigger we got on the receiver, no big deal. What happened was when I started to put the barreled action back into the chassis, there was a little contact, and then upon further inspection of the instructions, it says that there is some inletting for the trigger cavity that is required. Now, this stock had been already inletted for a jewel, so there really wasn't too much that I needed to do. There was a little bit in the front right here, and a little bit right here in the back, and then a little bit along the bottom side right here. I didn't waste an hour of your YouTube time watching me file away at this. I did do it with the hand file. It wasn't that big a deal. it came out all right. This has been already been cut on before, so I wasn't too worried about it. One of the tips is, if you are going to do it with a hand file, take the skins off your chassis. Makes it a little easier to see what's going on and get to the different parts. Now it fits nice into the chassis. So let's put this back together and see what it feels like. Okay, got that all set up. We've done all our safety checks on it several times. Ran the bolt real hard, make sure that the cocking piece stays cocked. Really a nice trigger, guys. This is really feels really good. I did not mess with any of the adjustments. You can mess with adjustments, quite a few of them, but let's give it a test and see how it stacks up. This is out of the package as far as weight and trigger pull and all that. So we're a little over a pound. Maybe I got 1.15 ounces. I'm sorry, 1 pound and 1 ounce to take up the slack on the first stage. Maybe 1 pound, 2 ounces to make contact. That's 1 pound, 13 ounces on the brake. That was 1 pound, 9.6 ounces. 1 pound, 10 ounces. One pound, 10.8 ounces. So a pound 11. So we're just a touch over a pound and a half right now. Yeah, 1 pound, 10 ounces, I would say that was the average. Went 1.9, 1.10, 1.11 within an ounce. It's a nice clean brake, guys. I'm pretty impressed. So one of the other things that this trigger advertises, that it was subject to SAMI and U.S. Army drop test evaluation. So they're saying that it passed all the really rough, rugged, grit, drop test, all that stuff for safety. So we're going to take it out to the range, shoot it, see how we like it. I think it's already feeling like a very good quality trigger. Been pretty happy with the feel. I've been wanting a 2-stage for a while now. I think this is gonna satisfy my needs right here. Guys, this is Malik Afram at Modern Pawn. Thanks for watching and stay safe.